Welcome back. We're now on to step 3, which is putting the side braces, LiPo holder onto the car. In the bag we have got even more bits and pieces to play with. So these are the front supports, stiffening bars. Put those on shortly, but first of all we're going to put on the LiPo holders and the side damper supports stroke body shell post mounts. So first things first, we have two lots of posts. So in the bag, in this little bag here, we have, first of all, we have 4 small posts and 4 small spacers. We will supply everybody that has bought the first lot of kits with a nice black spacer. Unfortunately, when we ordered these, we ordered them and they were going to be coming in black, but they arrived too short and they also arrived in silver. So they're remaking them. We didn't want to hold up the kit, so those will be replaced, so you've got some nice black spacers like the front support spacers, which are in black. So we do apologise for that. So let's put the screws through these holes in the chassis. There's one there, one there, one on the other side and one on the outside. So we're going to put the M3x10s through the chassis. You've then got a spacer, which is a little black spacer, and the aluminium post. And you do this on 4 posts, like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add these 4 posts, play a little bit of music while I'm doing it. Somebody sent me a little message, let's just add some music, so here goes. Okay, so we've now fitted the 4 spacers and 4 posts onto the back of the chassis. We can now add the smaller spacers, which go on the front of the chassis to hold the stiffening bars. Now these are held on with a small M3x6 button. There you go, you just see them. So we'll put those onto the positions. You've got one that goes on here, one that goes slightly further forward on here, and then the other one goes just behind where the 4 screws are to hold the wishbones on. So we'll add those. So One goes through the bottom of the chassis into the small post. And there's 6 of these screws, these spacers, sorry. Last couple. One more. I'd love to hear your comments and feedback of this new way of doing a build. It's not something I'm overly comfortable with, but we have to progress. As people keep telling me, we need to move on and do things differently. So you've now got your chassis, you've got your 4 posts which are silver at the back, and you've got your 6 posts at the front which are for your chassis stiffening bars. So first of all, we'll take one of the side LiPo holders. You've noticed there's a countersunk hole in the bottom of one of them, and on the other side it's countersunk at the top, so that is the top side. So they go on here first. So an M3 by 6 button head, you see that? You want 4, 2 in each side, like so. That goes into the rear support. And you do that on both sides. Sorry, dropped it. That one goes on the other side. So that's the rear bars fitted. Notice there's a gap at the front. Don't worry about that because we've got the front bars to go on. So same as the other one, they go like so. So you have a countersunk M3 by 6 on the front. Just drop that in. Don't tighten it up just yet until we've got all of the screws in place. The middle holes are not countersunk, so use a button head for those. And then the rear, you have a little spacer which goes in between the front rail and the LiPo holder rail, and an M3 by 10 goes all the way through both of them, and just gently nip that one up, the center one up and the front one up, and do the same on the other side. Spacer, an M3 by 10 and nip the centre one up and the front one up. That is your brace set and LiPo holder set. Also included in the bag is the band which holds your LiPo in place, which goes across, and that section is done. We also have the side links which came in the pod bag, which we will fit next. So first things first, we have 4 small balls, 2 silver screws, which you may have noticed there are 2 longer black screws in the pod bag. We get rid of the silver screws because the black ones arrived just after we made all the kits, so we'll put the black screws in there, and the 2 side link bars and 2 standoff spacers. So first thing is, on the side links, on one side you have a slightly bigger hole, and if you turn it over, on the other side you have a smaller hole. So when you put the little cap heads, which are these little, you see that? They go in the bigger hole side. So pop them in, don't tighten them up too tight, just put them in so they grip the plastic and then leave it there. You take the ball and you pop the ball in, how can I describe this? Turn the ball upside down and pop the ball into the hole. It's quite hard to do. There are lots of ways of doing it. You could put it onto the Allen driver and offer it to the hole and press. They're quite tight to get in, but you can see that they just basically pop into the side link. You want one that goes in from the top and the other one goes in from the bottom. I think putting it on the screwdriver is the easiest way. Pop that into place, put the side screw in and gently do that up. Okay, so you've got the link, you can see that has got the 2 balls in and the screws on the outside. You then take an M3 socket button. This goes through, on your pod you have the bar, the front bar. The screw goes through that hole, through the bottom, and your side link with the screws facing outwards. The back one screws to that ball. Now you want a 3mm driver to hold the ball, and use the M2 to tighten up. So that's the rear one. The front one is slightly different. We have 2 lengths, 2 holes you may have seen in the LiPo holder. We have a long position and a short position. Now we have side link bars for the short position, and I'll go through that in setup tips, but as kit standard we've gone with the long. So you put your M3 in the forward hole, that goes through the holder, You then put your small spacer over the top, and the front link then attaches to that screw. Don't over tighten that at this stage. So you've done the rear one and the front one, and then these side screws which we put on the links, you just want to tighten those up so you still have movement and it doesn't nip the ball. So all I do is tighten them up so you can just see a little bit of resistance, quarter of a turn out, and that's it, they won't pop off. So you do that on that side, and we'll quickly do the other side. Same again. The ball wants to be in from the top. Pop those into place. Little cap heads in from the side. Don't over tighten them. Socket button through the top of the front beam like we did before. The cap headed screws want to be on the outside. The amount of times I've put those on and then realised that screws were on the inside. Get your 3mm driver just to stop the ball from spinning. Screw through your top rail again with your spacer. Pop the front link on. Hold with your 3mm. And job done. What I will say is, I've done this loads of times on my GT12 car. The ball, if you just uncrack that screw, move the pod left and right a couple of times, gently nip the screw up here, and then tighten it up. Then you've got a really nice smooth pod, moves up freely, to the left and right freely. We will move on to section 4, step 4, shortly.